All right. Hello, everybody. Sam Quinton with Sonopa Publishing, right here in Frankfort, Kentucky, with this week's Live at 9. Now, I am testing to see if we're actually going to be broadcasting today, because last week we had an interesting failure that meant that Restream couldn't connect to and transmit to our channels. So yep, working on X/Twitter. And let's see if we are live on YouTube. Well, let's see here. Live July 26th. Yeah, there we are. All right, cool. So, welcome to Live at 9, everybody. Sam Quinton here. We are going to talk about some stuff. Now, we might not go a full hour tonight. We might not. There's a couple of reasons why that is. And the big one is that I didn't have as much time to prepare as I would have liked. One of the things I've been doing the last couple of days is going through inventory. So I've been making sure that I'm working my way through the boxes from the printer that have never been opened, and we're confirming inventory, getting stuff boxed up and such. Now the fun part about that is that I have a total of 3,000 bags and boards I ordered, and I don't think it's going to be enough. I've already boxed up a thousand comics. I've got probably I don't know. I don't know if 3,000 total is going to make it, but we will see. But that is something I'm going to be working on the next couple of weeks so that we can get all that taken care of. Now, what I'm going to talk about this evening are a couple of things. We're going to talk about the upcoming pen project for my daughter's cosplay pens that she's done. They are illustrated by Paul Walcott, is the person who designed the art, and it is illustration of my daughter in her cosplay costume that she designed. Although she didn't sew it, but she did assemble the parts. We went, shopping for the individual components, got everything together, and she's won it for a couple of conventions now. And she's very proud of it, and she should be. The other thing, hey, what's up, Ichthy? How you doing, man? Ichthus, everybody. Everyone say hey to him. I am doing good, man. How are you doing? I was just going over what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to start with my daughter's pen project, and we're going to talk a little bit about progress that was done this weekend. Yeah, man, it has been a minute. I was out for a couple of weeks, actually. I was doing some videos with Larry, and then I had a couple of weeks where I just couldn't get to those shows. So I'm hoping I can make it to his show this Wednesday, which means I get to go to the comic shop and pick up some stuff. I mean, that's another big indicator. I haven't even been to the comic shop in a couple of weeks, and that's a rough sign of things to come, right? The other thing to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about some work coming up from Damian Torres and Walter Giovanni, some stuff that got commissioned in this weekend. Actually, I'm waiting for Walter to get back to me, and then we're going to get him paid. I just kind of talk about what's going on with some of those, and maybe actually field some questions from the audience and talk about other stuff as it comes up. But we're going to try and keep it within our usual hour. Yeah, outstanding, man. How's that feel for the first comic release, right? Isn't that freaking awesome? Yeah, then the time with the family is always precious. I'm really fortunate. My daughter has lived with me most of the last 8.5 years, and then her mother moved in across the street from us in August of last year, so almost a year now. And so we've been more in line with our 50-50 custody agreement than we ever have before, because it's literally just right across the street and a couple houses up. She can see my front door from her porch. I can see her front door from my porch, that kind of thing. We're literally right across the street from each other. So it's a real good arrangement for my daughter. She gets to see her mom and her sisters more than ever now, and that's a good thing. Really, really good thing. All right, so everyone, again, if you have any questions or any comments, anything at all, go ahead and put them in chat. I'll be responding to that. I've got that pulled up. You should be able to see it on the screens as well. And again, the first thing we're talking about is this pin project thing. So this came about through just conversation with my daughter when she was telling me that she wanted to do her first ever cosplay that she created. She had gone to cons before in Halloween style costumes, most notably her Miraculous Ladybug costume, and she absolutely had a huge time with that. And then she got to meet a few different cosplayers, one in particular. And I gotta kind of be careful about this because I don't want to dox any information. So let me make sure I don't do that. And we will find her on Instagram, and I'll share some of her work, okay? So on Instagram, she's Sky, and we'll not release any additional information than that. But this is Sky. She was a huge inspiration for Willow for her cosplay aspirations, with a number of different costumes she's done from different conventions we've seen her at. And we've run into her at several conventions. Let me see if I can find more of her. Yeah, here we go. This is probably the one that she's most known for to my daughter. This is from My Hero Academia. She's done this at a few different conventions we've been to, and it's been very popular with the attendees, very popular with my kids. The Storm costume has been very popular with a lot of people. She's really, really very talented cosplayer and just a really nice human being. So that was kind of cool that we got to get some inspiration from her and learn a lot about cosplaying. And Ichthy says, yeah, happy to see you and Nick still working together. Yeah, we're going to be, we're always going to be working together. Reign of Ages issue 5 is going to be the last one that Nick does interior art on. He's going to be focusing really on Sky Maiden Studios because he's got 3 different titles right now with that. Is it 3? I think it's 3. Like 2 that are out and 1 that's in production. So he's pretty busy with that. And I'll be taking over Reign of Ages entirely with Paul Walcott on the interiors. But that should be a pretty good team. And also, Nick is going to do the cover art for the mainstream market release on Reign of Ages. So whereas we've had for the Kickstarters releases for 1 through 4, we've have Aisha Gul Sanev as the cover A, and I'm hoping that we can get her for cover A for issue 5 as well. Fingers crossed. And then Nick will do the covers for all these 5 issues for the mainstream market release. He'll also be doing the cover for the trade release when it goes to mainstream market. So yeah, Nick and I are going to be very, very much so still working together for the foreseeable future until either I pass away or Nick decides he doesn't want to work anymore. Actually, Nick just messaged me. Let me tell him, hey, cool. I was just talking about you on stream. Still streaming. There we go. Everyone forgets that I have live streams on Sunday. My mother, my brother, my best buds. Everyone keeps forgetting. But it's good to be here and good to get to talk to everybody. But I'm gonna get back on topic so I don't meander too far off. So Sky, I gotta remember to call her Sky. Sky is been a really huge influence on Willow as far as encouraging her interest in cosplay. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her at the next convention I go to because I'm going to be probably giving her one of the pins as kind of like a token of appreciation. You guys are twins and you don't want to confirm about it. I'm actually old enough to be Nick's dad. Um, Nick's a youngster. I'm God, how much older? I'm 23 years older than Nick is. So yeah, twinsies is a little much, I tell you. Not quite the twins thing for us, but he's a hell of a dude. Fantastic talent and a consummate professional. I have to tell you, just big tangent for the moment, guys. If you're ever needing a colorist who not only knows what they're doing, but is a pro just down to his blood cells, it's Nick Capone. He's absolutely fantastic to work with. And he also taught, I guess is a better technical word, taught Dakota Erhan, who does the colors on our comic Tibby and her time traveling psychedelic mushrooms. And so he's been a fantastic teacher and he's been a good friend for years. He's worked with me about 9 years now. I think that's where we're at because Sonopa was founded in 2017, and he was one of the first artists that we were working with. We had James Lee, Brian Lee, Rebecca Colthart, Alexia Veldhausen, Nick Capone, Kelsey Cohen Hardigan, and Zach Viola, of course, Christian, my God, Martinez. Just some really, really excellent talent. Most of those people still working with us. Some of them have gone on and are engaged in very long term projects right now. Zach being one of them. But I hope that we can get Zach, if his time ever allows, that we can get to work with him again. And Christian, of course, is a very successful VTuber as well as an artist. So I mean, that eats up a lot of his time as well. So, I keep deviating on these little side quests. Sorry about that, guys. Ichthy says Nick is a great colorist and shares his knowledge with me in my colorist journey. I'm grateful for our friendship. Yeah, he's really something, man. He really is. He's one of the good ones, that's for sure. The project I was talking about, Willow's cosplay pen. The concept of this came up because cosplay, when you're assembling stuff, there is a price tag to it. And Willow has been working at conventions now for several years. She'll come to conventions and work the booth with me. She has a blast, and we take her around. And she gets to see all the different cosplayers and all the different booths, and she gets to pick up stuff at the cons, and she has a great time with it. Um, but now that she's doing her own costumes and such, there's a little bit of a cost thing there, and so we were talking about it, and basically came up with the idea of doing these pens. And from my perspective, I think this is a wonderful chance for her education. So she's learning things about commissioning artists. She's learning things about finding supply lines. She's learning things about what we're going to be doing with the crowdfunding element, and she's learning about the money management. And at 12 years old, that's a lot to take in, and she's digesting it very, very well. So we have a good plan for managing the money responsibly so that she learns not only to set money aside for future projects, put money into savings, but also to make sure that she pays herself, gives herself a little bit of spending money so that she can enjoy the fruits of her labors, right? So I think this is a really great opportunity for her. I think that it's weird, though, to my thinking, right? A couple of years ago, she wanted to do a lemonade stand because she'd seen them in cartoons and all kinds of things. I thought that was a great idea, but you need multiple permits here in Frankfort, Kentucky, in order to set up a kids' lemonade stand. It just boggles the mind to me that it's harder to set up a kids' lemonade stand than it is for a child to come up with their own cosplay costume, put that together, commission an artist, get the art in, get the pins formatted, and get the pins ordered in. Um, it's so wild to me, but that's the world we live in, I guess, you know? And so it's going to be a really, really neat thing to see come to life. But that's it for that first segment. And since Ichthy's here, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add something that does touch on work with Nick Capone. All right. Because one of the things that we did today, me, commissioned some work from Damian Torres. Okay. One of those pieces is getting colored by Nick. And then the other three are ones that he's taking care of on doing the coloring on, right? And then also sent in contract for Walter Giovanni, who of course did our B cover for Reign of Ages issue 4. That's also going to be colored by Nick. And we got a message here from Ichthy. Let's see what we got here. Teaching your kid about financing and saving is going to be ahead in the game to be independent. That's my hope. I want that. I want her to actually have some skills that I think are going to carry forward. Like when I was a kid, my dad and my mom taught me a lot of different skills outside of school as well, right? So I was taught how to hunt and to fish and to skin animals and prepare game and how to start fires. A lot of survivalist information, actually, to be perfectly frank. I was taught to shoot and not just shoot guns, but bows and arrows. And we had pretty extensive opportunities there. One of my dad's friends was a Golden Gloves boxer. He taught us to box when I was young. And then we went into martial arts training when I guess I was 14 when we started martial arts training. No, I was 15. I was 15 when we started martial arts training. Anyway, 14. I'll have to look, but I think it's somewhere around there. Yeah. I think it was 15. Anyway, the bunch of other skills. We learned how to cook, take care of animals. Dad taught me a lot about doing drywall work. Mom taught us a little bit about sewing and of course taught us to cook and a bunch of other things. So there was a lot of real hands-on learning for practical skills at that time. Of course, we're talking the 1970s, the early 1980s to the mid 1980s. Because I graduated high school in '89, but the whole thing about passing on information and skills that you feel are going to be useful to your children is very, very important. And in case anyone's wondering, yeah, I have not been teaching my daughter how to survive in the wild, but that's going to be changing next year because next year I'll be handling things like her firearm safety training and things like beginning her hand-to-hand combat training, teaching her how to live in the woods and things of that nature. So she'll get a rudimentary education in basic outdoor survival and probably a little bit of land nav as well. So it should be an interesting time for that 13 for after she turns 13. I think she's going to have an interesting couple of months. That should be interesting for sure. But with the projects that we have that were commissioned today, this is a pretty neat thing because originally, let me back up. This whole project line that Damien started on originated with the concept for the Tibby's 4th of July art print. The original concept was to get these art prints done that were in the composition style of Norman Rockwell, but using Damian Torres's art style itself. And so we have this classic Americana kind of theme for a broad range of appeal, and we're going to use those for promotional images for like postcard mailings and things like that. But the art's, fantastic. So getting it done into art prints just makes good sense. And so we did our art print campaign in July. That's been fulfilled. It was fulfilled really immediately. I think everything was shipped out by the 7th or the 8th, something like that. We do still have two people who haven't put in their um, backer surveys on Reign of Ages issue 4. I need to message them again this coming week and see if we can get them to answer that backer survey so that we can send them their books, because I don't have their addresses. I'm going to really need to have that. Um, so, yes, guys, whenever a campaign ends, make sure you fill out your backer survey so that people can fulfill your books. It's really, really, really important. Okay. Now, by the way, huge shout out to everyone who's here. I'm glad to see you guys all showing up. We got most of you look like you're on YouTube, and a couple people on X. Phil, good to see you, man. We were just talking about Nick Capone. You missed that part. Thanks for being here tonight. And guys, if you would, please do make sure that you share the link around. We'll see if we can get out to as many people as possible. We probably won't, as I was saying at the beginning of this, we probably won't do the full hour tonight because the subject is kind of small, kind of a brief little overview kind of thing. But anyway, the art prints that we're doing are very classical in their composition. I.e., again, we're following Norman Rockwell composition that he did in the past, obviously. But with these themes that are really important, I think, to our culture. So the 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Actually, Damien brought up doing an Easter one. And I think the Easter one is kind of a neat concept because that one isn't really probably going to be a Norman Rockwell composition. We came up with a pretty cool idea. I just need to find the money to fund it. So I think we're going to take in. I've opened up a Whatnot account, and I may do a Whatnot stream in a week or two and offer up original art pages. I think that there is certainly a market opportunity there, and we can raise some money to get not just like these other compositions done, but also to get some work done on Tibby and on Rain and on 47 Furious Tales issue 4. I think that's going to be a very, very, very big deal. Very big deal. So, what are these coming art prints that we've got? So, we have the Thanksgiving one being done first. And actually, I need to message Damien as well, because one of the things that this particular composition has is a couple of characters in the background. Cool. There's that. All right. Had to send that. I spoke with Brian Lee earlier. And Brian has been live streaming his work on Necroholic. And so we're going to have another meeting this week, figure out when we can expect issue 4 to be done so that we can get to work on getting that book out to the world. I think one of the things I am going to do with that is probably reach out again to the guys with villain support, because they were both really, really impressed with Necroholic particularly. I mean, they both liked 47 Furious Tales quite a lot also, but Necroholic was one that really, really, really captured their attentions. So I think it's a good fit, and hopefully spread the word about that title and get some people interested and get some books made. I think that's a good idea. Um, I just completely segued off topic. I'm sorry, guys. I meandered right off the rails. Oh man, that's a bad one. Sorry. Anyway, I went from Damien Torres to Brian Lee because of that one little tangent. So, with the holiday theme stuff, we've got the Thanksgiving one, and then we've got the Christmas one. And then Damien came up and he's like, we should probably do Easter also. And then we had a little impromptu brainstorming session, and came up with something that's kind of cool. So hopefully that will not be too offensive to anybody. Because while it's technically Easter themed, the whole thing with Tibby as an Easter bunny comes off more like a Playboy bunny, right? So kind of have to watch that, otherwise people will kind of, get the they get a little raw sometimes. A huge shout out to some of the guys watching on X. We've got Chibi Reviews, Rev, Speak, and Steve. So good to see you guys. That's pretty neat. Now, I am doing everything I can, guys, to make sure that we get these live streams out every Sunday. Again, last Sunday we had some technical difficulties and just could not get the channels connected. I still don't know what exactly was causing that, but we don't seem to have that problem tonight, so that's good. But back on topic again, man, I'm jumping all over the place. The art prints that are coming out, we'll get those in. Probably going to add a couple of those into Art by Humans before we launch. I want to buff up the page count a little bit, and one of the things about that is we've got a painting coming in from Tony Ojeda. I was originally expecting it tomorrow, but we've moved that deadline up a week. So it'll be next week, not this coming week, but the week after when we get that in. And then we'll have that, and we'll have probably 2 pages from Damien, those being the Tibby 4th of July and the Tibby's 4th of July, and then the Reign of Ages art print, because Damien Torres did the individual art prints for Rain, Lalandra, and now he's doing one as Dedelia Nuta. And it's going to be something, man. It's going to be something. I'm really looking forward to that. It should be memorable, that's for sure. And Nick's going to be doing colors on that, so you can't go wrong with those two working on a project together. And we'll probably take and bring that and the Thanksgiving print and the Christmas print, and maybe the ones by Tony, the Cthulhu and the King in Yellow, and do another art print campaign this year. I think would be a good idea, in addition to the Art by Humans campaign and the other campaigns we got going. So we're still hoping to do Reign of Ages issue 5's campaign this year, so long as we can reasonably expect to get it out before the end of the year. Now, we might have to move it to January or February, depending, but getting back into the swing of production, getting everything back to working into a nice, smooth, process takes a little bit sometimes, I guess. Ichthus, Phil, do you guys have anything you want to tell anyone? Ichthus, you want to tell everyone where they can find your new comic title? Chibi, I hope your dog's doing okay, man. I saw that it was having some seizures. I hope that's going okay. Steve, always good to see you there, man. Speak. Thank you so much for all the retweets, man. That's the thing. I've been really blessed with the folks who are following me. The numbers aren't large, but the people are intense. You know what I mean? So like folks who are just doing a whole lot to keep pushing the stuff out into the world, and it's good because it introduces people to all the stuff that we're doing. Man, that's a lot. Just a lot. I think we lost Ichthy. Think we lost Ichthus. That's okay. Well, Phil, man, where can people find you, dude? Go ahead and put it in the chat. It should let you. I say that, and you're all over here. Let me make sure that you. There we go. I had to add you as a moderator, Phil. Sorry, I thought I'd already done that. Okay, Ichthy's comic is Odyssey of the Dream Reaver. It's free to read on Global Comics. Cool deal. Guys, check that out. Actually, let me see if I can find that. Okay, let's see here. I'll go ahead and put the link in chat. There we go. Hey, everybody. Good to see you all. We've got Slayer in the house. And Nia Keeks. Is that how that's pronounced? Good to see you. We were going over stuff about coming projects and a whole bunch of other things. So, kind of lurking as you're painting, though the eyes are crossing. Gotcha. I'm actually really looking forward to this one particular painting coming in. So I definitely relate. I'm a pretty lucky guy. And Phil, oh, it's Hobby. I'm sorry, Hobby. I didn't realize that was you, man. And Phil's saying he's got some stuff coming up with Screaming Rabbit Studios in Kansas City. That's cool. Yeah, Hobby, I didn't realize that was you, man. It's been a minute. That's cool. Definitely, everyone check out Phil's Facebook if you need a colorist. He's probably got a little bit of time available. You're in COG. I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, we were going over earlier about the cosplay pin project that my daughter's doing, and over some of the art that's coming in for yeah, where you'll see us on Villain Support. Particularly, Levi has a lot of stuff, and it's art that I own copyright on. I hire a lot of different people, but you'll see behind Levi, you will take and you'll see art by Brian Lee, who's the creator of Necroholic, Damian Torres, um, Tony Ojeda. You'll see art on his wall from Nick Capone. You'll see art on his wall from Sandra Cole. Who else is on that wall? Alexia Veldhausen, Damian Torres, Tony Ojeda, Brian Lee, Sandra. Oh, and Kelsey Cohen Hardigan. Slayer says, wish I could undo part of my painting as I messed up, but it's not so easy. You know, there was a wise man who once said there are no mistakes in paintings, just happy little accidents. You know, so that's kind of cool. Well, I'm actually a writer, so I mean, I'm that fun imperfect little batch. Oh man, excuse me. But yeah, I had a great time. We sponsored the villain support channel for the I had this here earlier for the Tibby's 4th of July art print campaign, and we did that's by Damian Torres, by the way, and we had some other art that he had done on that campaign, some of which was colored by Nick Capone. Yep, the wise words of Bob Ross. That's right. Yeah, I know, man. The hair is kind of lazy today. Hold on a second. I just messed it up. I'll tell you, if you go back and you look through all the videos, sometimes you got me with high and tight. Sometimes you got me with like shaved sides and long hair, and sometimes you got me like shoulder length hair. Changes all the times. Blind eyes would argue otherwise on happy mistakes. Little happy accidents, man. Little happy accidents. Um, I think to myself I should take the time and start learning how to draw. But the problem is that I already barely have enough time to write, much less draw. So got to keep working on that. One of the things I did today was I had to finish drafting up a contract. Oh no, I was talking about Bob's hair. Yeah, Bob always had great hair. That's for sure. Bob always had great hair. Bob Ross, the man, the myth, the legends. Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm kind of old. I am kind of old. I'll be 56 this year, so uh I'm older than Phil. Phil, you know it was down to my shoulders last year. I ended up cutting it all off. I lost 3 pounds in that haircut for not even exaggerating. I literally lost 3 pounds just from the haircut. But when I did that one, I had it cut down tremendously. Slayer's saying they miss writing, but have been happy to still do digital designs. Yeah, I have a lot of writing to do. I've got to finish some revisions on Tibby and Time Traveling Psychedelic Mushrooms issue 2. I have to finish the write out of the little crossover that we're doing of Tibby and Rain. I've got to do a rewrite on 47 Furious Tales issue 4 and a couple of revisions that I want to make on the existing script before I get it over to Alexia. And then I got hired to write a manga. Phil, I think I am. I think I am older than you, man. I think you're what 54 and I'm 50, about to be 56. So I think I got you, man. Of all the people to be the youngster, it's Max. Am I still doing D stuff? We haven't put out any D&D stuff since before the pandemic broke out. The last release was in 2019, but I have been working on the 4th tarot adventure. I've got all of the art in for the 3rd Sinopa Omnibus. I want to get those out as 5e content, and then depending on how those do will determine if I keep releasing the 5e work or if I go in and finish the creation on my own role-playing game book. Phil, I'm sorry, man. Well, Phil says he hates getting old. Phil, I'm going to say getting old sure beats the alternative. You know what I mean? But yeah, as far as the 5e stuff, we'll get the 4th book in the Tarot Adventure series out. And we'll get the Snopa Omnibus Volume 3 out. and then from there, if there's still, the interest in the D&D stuff that we put out. Let me see what I just got. Slayer says, okay, I poof to start slipping the deer in. Wish me luck. Best animals are wolf, fox, and cat, but the commission needs a deer. Gotcha. Um, you can learn storyboarding. All you need to get away with is basic figure drawing. You don't need to fully draw the figure and backgrounds. Helps to communicate with your artist. Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. I'll tell you, the funny part is that I've been in this position where we've been making books now, comics, since 2019. We've got 11 issues out in total, counting Reign of Ages issue 4 that just came out. Necroholic's going to come out this year. Well, it looks like it's going to come out this year, as long as Brian's Brian's health allows for it. And then hopefully we'll get we get Tibby issue 2 out before the end of the year, as well as Reign 5. Because the nice part about that is that Reign 5 is an entirely separate production team. Other than the letterer, Taylor letters both of those. So getting those 3 books out would bring us to 14 titles so far. And so I've learned a lot about communicating, particularly with those individual artists, and they're all real comfortable with asking questions for me too. So that's been a real blessing, a real blessing. And of course, I work with fantastic people. Not old, next level. Yeah. We are leveling up pretty fast, aren't we, Phil? Level 56 does sound a lot better than 56 years old. That much is true. Man, oh man, oh man. But I sent a contract over to Walter Giovanni today. He did the B cover for Reign of Ages issue 4. Nick did the colors on that, but he did the line art. And so he's doing the line art on the B cover for issue 5. And whereas issue 4, Nick hired him, this time I hired him. So I'll own that art to use with art prints and stuff too. So I'm really, really excited to see that. Getting back to the D&D question though, Reign of Ages is actually set in the land of the Tarot Adventures. And so that does kind of play into that too, as far as with regard to the D&D content. I'd really, really, really like to do. I'm kind of torn. Part of me wants to do a book on wizardry and wizards. The problem is there's so many of them out on the market. I don't really know if it needs to be rehashed in 5e yet. And I haven't gone anywhere past. I don't own any editions past 5e for D&D. So in a lot of ways, getting those 5e books out is great to cleanse the palate and get those, because those projects have been underway for a long time. Just never have put the finishing touches on them. But getting to the work that needs to be done on my own RPG, the 8 Lands of Adventure, that there's a lot of content I've written down over the years that needs to be worked in together, formatted. It's a lot. I mean, it's just a huge amount. Slayer says, I think I'm level 39 this year. Would be easier to remember if my level up parties happened more often. Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, I had one of my best friends in the whole world. His name is Chris, but a lot of people call him Soul Man. He is he's a variety streamer on Twitch, actually. He does a lot of different video game streaming is what he does. For his 50th birthday, and he's a few months older than I am, so this has been years ago. I actually commissioned one of the artists. I commissioned Zach Viola to do an original digital painting of him. And it was very, very particular what I wanted on it. and me and some buddies of mine grabbed covert photos of my friend, and we were playing a lot of Warframe at the time, and we still do. And so we got pictures of his favorite Warframe, and we also had pictures that were generated of his favorite RPG characters, and then a little memorial statue to his wife in the background because she passed 25 years ago. Um, Died very suddenly in an accident. It was a huge tragedy. But the we did that and got that done up, got the prints made of it and framed up, and that was his birthday gift. And so he got that, and he got some extra copies of it in case he needed them. And of course, I've still got the file if things go south. But I think that was one of the best gifts I've done for my buddies in a while. Every year I try to do something a little special. So for my buddy JP, I've got something cooking in the background, and hopefully that'll be cool. Yeah, thanks, Slayer. She was a good friend. And those two were a fantastic couple. Her loss is still felt. Let's see who we got in here. Javi says, "Well, people play all versions, so it will always be taken into play." That's very true. I couldn't tell you how many times I've reached back to the old Oriental Adventure books and used that in, you know, second edition, of course, and third, 3.5. I skipped fourth completely. But in fifth, certainly, and just a lot of good reference material in there for not just for equipment, but for concepts regarding some of the social things in there. Good honor mechanics in that book if you want to have an honor mechanic. Legends of the Five Rings, I think, was another good one for that. But Oriental Adventures was ahead of its time. It really, really was. All right. Well, guys, we're running it at 45 minutes. We usually go up to an hour, but I'm probably not going to do the full hour tonight. So if anyone has any comments or questions, criticisms or concerns, please go ahead and put them in chat. If you've got any new products yourselves are out, links to your online pages, go ahead and put them in the chat so other people can see. If you are posting on YouTube, let me know if you don't have a link. Played and taught my kids on 5e, so we were still all in that version. Yeah, 5e is a good one. In fact, the books that I had to reorder press runs of a couple of books because we keep selling out, right? And so we had been sold out for a bit. I'm sure you saw the memorial I did for Levi's kitty. I'm always thinking about doing art for a pet or a loss of family members. Yeah, it was a shame of when Levi's kitten died. That was terrible. Well, wish all a great life and have fun and be safe. Great seeing all you guys. Nikki says, "What writing advice do you wish you knew as a writer now? Like, was something I know now that I knew then? Um, don't try to be perfect on your first draft." And everyone's always says that, and people want to say, "No, I want it perfect the first time." Don't do that to yourself because it murders your creativity. Go ahead and write out your first draft, as rough or whatever as it may be. In fact, to give you an idea, let me see if I can find, what is this? Let's see here. It is, bear with me. Back when Google had their own social media thing, and before Sinopa was founded, I was doing a lot of fan fiction writing just because I needed to vent my creativity. And so I put out this whole big thing of Shadowrun fanfic, and I would write and put something in there, usually at least once a week. And the first one that really caught on, I guess this was technically right after I had founded Sinopa. It was through Blogger. And it's the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. There we go. So the reason I bring that up, Ichthy, is because all of these fanfic entries are just typed in directly, right? So they're not heavily edited. Some of them I've gone back and made spelling corrections, maybe a couple of grammar corrections, but none of these have gotten a second writing. None of them have gotten any type of rewrite. So it's been one of those things where um it wasn't really a Sinopus script. Like I said, it's Shadowrun fan fiction. But if you guys want to see some of the raw dirt, that's some of the raw dirt right there. Um, yeah, that whole thing, it's put in as like a blog, as a blog is what it basically is built as. And so let me see what the total view count is. Not too bad. I mean, our total page views are 43,689. So that's not too bad. Not great. I mean, it's been running since it ran from 2017 until 2020. I put one thing out in 2020 in November of 2020 because there was all kinds of stuff going on. 2019, the last entry was October. So basically, around that time, I was getting the Death Comes to Glenfollow book out because we had that issue where I accidentally deleted the entire book when I went to save the cover and accidentally saved over the book. And at the time, my Google Drive was synced to my desktop, so anything something updated, it updated, and that was just a bad idea. Don't do that. So I'm actually about to go order a little external terabyte drive so I can move stuff into the terabyte drive for long-term storage. That's another thing I wish I'd known as a writer then that I know now is to not keep your Google Drive synced to your desktop. Or for the same thing, if you're using whatever the Windows thing is, don't sync that continually too, because if you accidentally change something, then it's a real pain in the ass to try and recover it. Because I wasn't able to recover Comes to Glenfollow. I had to rewrite the whole thing from memory, and that was horrible. We ran, I think, 4 months late on release on that. It was absolutely terrible. But by the time I was done, I think the published version is the best version of the book. So I guess maybe it was okay. But yeah, Javi, good to see you, man. It's been a minute. Best to the family and the kids, of course. Ichthy, always a pleasure. Ichthus, I'll get it right eventually, man. Slayer, good to see you out here tonight, and of course Phil Leon, the Electric Crayon himself, and also Chibi. Good to see you out there, man. Thanks for watching us on X. Steve and Speak. Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun tonight. It's good talking with y'all. And next week we will be talking a little bit more about, I think, more things into like social media and production on stuff, and about not taking social media so seriously, because in the end of it, I think that if you spend too much time on social media, you're really handicapping the time that you need for your writing, your drawing, your work that you're doing that actually produces something. Because I mean, unless you're really famous, no one's going to look back at whatever you posted on Twitter 30 years ago and go, "Ha, that was brilliant," right? But that's it for tonight, guys. Please do remember to take good care of yourself. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Take any medication you need correctly. And do remember that in a world where you can choose to be anything, please do choose to be kind. And I am Sam Quinton with Sinopa Publishing right here in Frankfort, Kentucky. You guys